I'd like to begin our meeting this evening, the Committee of Adjustment, by acknowledging that the land which we gather is the traditional territory of the Nishnawbe, Ottawa, and Mississauga peoples. Confirmation of the agenda. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby accepts the agenda for December 4th, 2023, public hearing as presented. May I have a mover? Councillor McBurney, Councillor Wright, all in favor? Carried. Declaration of pecuniary interests. Seeing none. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, that the Committee of Adjustment hereby adopts the minutes from the Committee of Adjustment hearing held April 17th, 2023 as presented. May I have a mover? Deputy Reeve, Councillor Van Hitterson, all in favor? Carried. Statement that any decisions reached by this committee cannot be used to set a precedent. Schedule 6.1, file number MV02-2023. That's 6.1.1. Presentation by Hannah Holman. At this time, please, County Planner.
All right. Thank you to the committee for having me this evening. So as mentioned, the subject property is 152 Dinsley Street in Blythe. The following is a map of the property. It is currently designated residential and zoned residential low density. The property contains an existing single detached dwelling. The requested variance is in support of the proposed construction of an extension to the existing dwelling as an attached garage. The proposed build abuts the eastern interior side yard. And the variance requested is seeking to reduce the interior side yard requirement from 1.5 meters to 1.2 meters. So the following are site visit photos. So the proposed structure will be located on a portion of the existing driveway area where the vehicle is. And then you can also see the neighbor's property as well and their building. There's some more site photos of the property is included in the report. The following shows the site sketch as provided by the applicant. So in this, you can see the proposed attached garage, as well as the 12-foot and 5-inch setback to the neighbor's existing building, and then that 1.2 meter setback area. The following shows elevations, with the elevation on the bottom being the east elevation, so that's the one abutting the yard seeking the variance. So township staff and agencies were circulated as required, no concerns in their comments, and then neighbors and members of the public also received notice via mail and then posting on this a sign on the property, and no comments were received at the time of report submission in writing. The application was considered against the 4 tests of the minor variance. My report does go into this further detail. The variance is considered minor. It does represent a 0.3 meter decrease to the permitted side yard. It is not anticipated that there would be any adverse impacts. The setback, although reduced, still allows for access to this side yard for maintenance of the building. It does have over 3 meters setback to the neighboring property, so it maintains an adequate distance. And then it's also worth noting on the subject property that the other interior side yard on the west side is quite large, which still allows for continuous rear yard access. And then also you will note in the elevation drawings that the elevation has the eaves directed away from the neighboring property. So it's not anticipated that there would be any drainage related concerns, and the intent of the North Huron official plan and zoning bylaw are maintained. So it is recommended that the application be approved subject to the following standard conditions: that the structure be generally constructed within the footprint on the sketch, that it generally follow the elevations as provided, and that the variance is approved for a period of 18 months. So these are the typical standard conditions for this type of application. The committee is also reminded that after they hear from the applicant and any members of the public, that a second motion to the effect of public and agency comments is required. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the committee will have, and then I also will note that the owner, Joanne, is also in attendance this evening, and she did provide some photos in her submission package.
Thank you. At this time, I'll ask Joanne if she'd like to do the talk now,
Great.
please.
Thank you, Reeve. Thank you very much to North Huron Council and staff for allowing me this opportunity to speak. Actually, with that light on, you won't be able to see that very well, but there's 2 red lines on that picture. The shorter red line closer to the vehicle is where the wall of the garage will be. The longer red line to the right, that's where the actual property line is. So just to give you a better visual of what the property is like. Both Nancy Small and Hannah have been very helpful throughout this process, and I very much appreciated that. I purchased this property in May of 2009 from an auction sale, so that was quite an experience. And since then, there's been a lot of time and energy and a lot of sweat equity gone into it. You'll see in another picture, maybe skip over one more, two more, one more. So that was what the backyard looked like when I purchased the property. So as you can see, we did a little bit of improvement to that. And then if you skip back to, go to the other one, the next one there. You'll see to the west side of my building, there's lots of access on that side, and we have a verbal agreement with my neighbor to the east that if for any reason he can't access his yard from his property, he is free to go around to the west side of my building and through my backyard to access his, although we don't see that will be an issue. The addition of the garage to the east, if you can go back to that, where my entrance there, it'll really make a huge difference for me personally. You can't really tell by there, but there's several different elevations between the sidewalk to the pavement to paving stones, and there's an awful lot of tripping hazards there. So if my garage is approved, I'm really going to look forward to having a level surface to get in and out of my house. And I think that's pretty much it. Just thank you for allowing me to speak for this variance, and I sincerely hope that it is approved. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. 6.1.3, opportunity for comments by others in attendance. Seeing none. 6.1.4, opportunity for questions, comments by Committee of Adjustment members. Are there any from any of the members at all? I know it's very self-explanatory, the pictures that we got on our agenda and whatnot, and so no questions? Okay. 6.1.5, summary of comments and recommendations of the Huron County Planning and Development Department. Go ahead, Hannah.
So it is recommended that the committee select option A2, that no public comments were received on this application, so there was no effect on the decision, and that option 3B be selected, that agency comments were received in support of the application, the effect of which resulted in a decision to approve the application.
Okay. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves minor variance application MVO 2023 as it applies to Plan 173, Part Lot Block M, Blythe Ward, Township of North Huron, 152 Dinsley Street. Applicants Joanne Hickey, with the conditions set out in the report presented by Hannah Hallman, planner, at the December 4th, 2023 Committee of Adjustment hearing. May I have a mover? Councillor Wright, Councillor Van Hitterson. All in favor? Carried. Motion number 2, for the minor variance application MV 02-2023, insert effect, public and agency comments on decision. May I have a mover?
So and that's where Planner Holman has recommended 2A and 3B.
Yeah, I have that down, 2A and 3B. And we have Deputy Reeve moving, seconder, Councillor McBurney. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much. And we'll just turn it over now to Hannah for 6.2.1.
Okay, all right, thank you.
File number MV 03-2023.
Thank you. So this variance affects lands at 346 Queen Street, and the applicant is Mike Ladd. So the subject lands are a corner lot on Queen Street and Wellington Street in Blythe. So council may recall that they recently had a presentation on a severance application about a month and a half ago. And this was previously subject to severance that has since been conditionally approved to allow for a new infill lot with the existing dwelling on the retained lands. So as a result of that severance, there was a condition that they seek the appropriate minor variances. So that is what this application is looking to achieve. So the lands are designated commercial and zone fringe core area commercial. However, the committee should also note that the C5 zone also permits residential uses, including a single detached dwelling subject to the R1 Section 26 provisions. The purpose of the application, as mentioned before, it's to facilitate a previously approved severance, and then more specifically, it's to vary Section 26.4 of the zoning bylaw to reduce the minimum lot depth from 30 meters to 25 meters, so that's on both the proposed severed and retained. And then with respect to the existing dwelling, as a result of the severance, because it is a corner lot, once the severance is complete, the locations of the rear yard as well as the exterior side yard and the front yard will be changing as a result of that severance. So the variance is also proposing to recognize the existing reduced rear yard from 8 meters to 7.6 meters, so that's along the north edge of the property, and then also to reduce the minimum exterior side yard from 6 meters to 4.9 meters, so that's along the western edge of the property. So the following are site visits of the property, so showing the existing dwelling and then the proposed severed vacant lot. So the application was also considered against the 4 tests of the minor variance. My report does go into greater detail. So the rear and exterior side yards do represent a reduced setback of 0.4 meters and 1.1 meters respectively. So in that context, they are considered minor. For the depth reduction of 5 meters, in this case, it is considered minor in the context of this because the lot area and the lot frontage of the 2 proposed lots are more than meeting the minimum requirements in this case. So generally, the lot area is sufficient in that case. The variance is considered desirable with no negative impacts anticipated with these reduced yards. The official plan does encourage infill development in which this proposal maintains the intent. It also meets the intent of the zoning bylaw with the lot sizes being functionally sufficiently large and maintaining general compatibility along the 2 reduced yards. In terms of comments, County Public Works staff as well as North Huron staff were circulated on the application and they provided comments of no concern. At the time, as of current, no written comments have been received from neighbors or members of the public as a result of circulation. So it is recommended that this application be approved, subject to the following conditions. So since there's not a specific building proposal at this time, these conditions are slightly different. And it's just that the proposed variances, so the proposed yard setbacks for the retained lands and the lot depths for the severed and retained lands be generally consistent with the sketch that accompanied the application. And then the variance approval is valid for a period of 18 months, which is a standard condition. And then with respect to the reduced yards, after that, it would be recognized as legal non-complying. And then, as always, there is also a second motion to the effect of public and agency comments. So I'm happy to answer any questions that the committee may have.
Okay, at this time, this opportunity for the applicant, that he said that he didn't want to speak, he's just here if there's any questions from you as members. And opportunity for comments of others in the attendance? Seeing none. Opportunity for questions, comments by Committee of Adjustment members? Seeing none. Summary of comments and recommendations of the County of Huron Planning and Development Department. Hannah, would you just please summarize?
Okay, thank you. So it is recommended if the committee wishes to approve the application that option A2 be selected. No public comments were received on this application, so there was no effect on the decision, and that option 3 be selected. That agency comments were received in support of the application, the effect of which resulted in a decision to approve the application.
Thank you. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves minor variance application MV 03-2023 as it applies to Plan 169 Block B, Lot 14, Blythe Ward, Township of North Huron, 346 Queen Street. Applicant owners Mike Glad with the conditions set out in the report presented by Hannah Holman, planner at the December 4th, 2023 Committee of Adjustment hearing. I have a mover. Deputy Reeve, Councillor Palmer, all in favor? Carried. Now with motion number 2, minor variance application. This is the chart, and it's A2 and 3B. May I have a mover? Counselor McBurney, seconder. Counselor Whitfield, all in favor? Carried. Thank you. Thank you, Hannah. Very good. Turn the light on now. Thanks. Good. Good. Number 7, minor variance procedure following public meeting. The Secretary Treasurer sends within 10 days a certified copy of the decision indicating the last day of appealing to Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT, to the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, if requested, each person who appeared in person or by counsel at the hearing and who filed the Secretary Treasurer a written request for notice of the decision. If no appeal lodged after the 20-day objection period has expired and no appeal has been lodged, the decision of the Committee of Adjustment is final and binding. The Secretary Treasurer shall notify the applicant. If a notice of appeal is lodged, the members of the public do not have the right to appeal the decision of the Committee of Adjustment. Only the applicant, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, a specified person under the Planning Act, or a public body that has an interest in the matter may appeal the decision. If within 20 days of the Committee of Adjustment making a decision, an appeal is lodged with the Secretary Treasurer outlining the reasons for such an appeal, and said appeal is accompanied by the required fee of $400, the Committee of Adjustment no longer retains jurisdiction over the application. If a proper appeal is lodged, the Secretary Treasurer is required to provide proper notice to the Ontario Land Tribunal, OLT. Adjournment, that there being no further business before the Committee of Adjustment, the public hearing be hereby adjourned at
5:46 PM.
5:46. I have a mover, Councillor McBurney, seconder, Councillor Wright, all in favor? Carried. Thank you.